Hey guys, what's up? Gladly here. So a couple of days ago I completed the Trials of the Sword in the new Zelda DLC. And today I present to you the best tips that I have for completing the trials. Some of you have probably already completed the trials, but if you haven't, or if you're possibly thinking of trying for the Master Mode trials, which I hear is a pretty big step up in difficulty, hopefully these tips will help you and maybe some things you haven't tried for yourself or thought about. With that being said, let's jump right into my best tips for clearing the Trials of the Sword. Number 1. Get prepared. My first tip is something that you can do before you even step foot inside of the trials. So it turns out that any buff to your stats or your hearts or your stamina that you have before entering the trials will carry over into the trials and will last for their full duration inside of the trials. In my opinion, the best bonus to use inside the trials will be a 30-minute level 3 defensive food. You can make one of these by combining, for example, 4 iron shrooms with 1 dragon horn. A level 3 armor boost is essentially equal to 24 points of armor, which will severely decrease the damage that you take from monsters inside the trials. In addition, we can make foods that increase our maximum temporary hearts and maximum temporary stamina by combining up to 5 hardy foods and 5 enduring foods, respectively. Just eat those bad boys before entering the trials, and then you're all good. Number 2. Use your Sheikah Slate abilities. First off, be sure to upgrade both the bomb ability and the stasis ability. Both of these are very useful in the trials. Bombs, for example, are very useful for clearing out both groups of enemies and single enemies without having to waste durability on your items or arrows, and you can throw them from a pretty safe distance. Since each bomb power has a separate cooldown timer, you can even switch between the two to fire off a rapid succession of bombs. The Stasis Plus ability lets you safely set up some major damage on single enemies, and is especially useful for quickly dealing with mobile or otherwise annoying enemies. Number 3. How to never miss out on treasure. Some of the best items you'll get inside the trials are hidden away in chests. To make sure you get all of them, you can take a picture of a chest with the camera, then go into your Hyrule Compendium and set your Sheikah sensor to search for them. This way, the radar will let you know when there's still a treasure chest left to find, or if you can safely move on to the next floor. As a side note, make sure you search all the wooden crates and boxes and the metal crates to keep your combat supplies topped off. Number 4. Keep in mind the effects of fire, ice, and lightning weapons and use them to your advantage. Ice is possibly the most powerful element and lets you freeze enemies in their place to set up big damage hits. Ice damage can instantly kill fire-based enemies, and frozen enemies are very easy to push off to drown in water, lava, or any liquid of your choice, which is a great way to deal with big, tough enemies, such as the more difficult variants of moblins and bokoblins. Lightning or electric damage lets you stun and disarm enemies. This lets you rob them of their weapons and consequently cuts their damage dealing potential drastically, making them a lot easier to deal with. Lightning attacks also do bonus damage to enemies submerged in water, which could prove useful against those annoying Lizalfos that just insist on sitting in the water and spitting at you. Fire weapons set enemies on fire, dealing a little bit of bonus damage and stunning them. One awesome fire trick is to put wood or wooden weapons on the ground, lighting them on fire and then luring enemies into them. As long as enemies are standing in the fire, they'll take constant damage, and you can basically keep your shield up the entire fight and just focus on luring them into the fire again and again. This will kill even silver enemies in a surprisingly quick and effective manner, especially in situations where you don't have access to freeze effects or other powerful weapons, which is often the case in the trials. Finally, fire weapons will let you easily take care of ice-based enemies, as long as you can actually hit them. And finally, don't be greedy. What I mean by this is, if you're facing a tough enemy, don't be afraid to use a bunch of arrows or use your best weapon in order to kill it. Of course, don't be too wasteful either, but in general I found that the game is pretty generous with weapons and ammunition. This might very well change in Master Mode, but at least for normal mode, always use the best tool for the job. And there you go. I try to keep this spoiler light so you can experience it properly for yourself, because it is a great experience and I can't wait to try it in Master Mode. As always, thanks for watching, make sure to leave a like if you learned something, and until next time, good luck!